Good afternoon, all. Welcome to the first episode of what I'm calling Dashcam Diary. My name is Grant. I'm sitting behind the wheel of my little Wego, heading to the mall, SM Imus, here in the beautiful city of Cavite, in the Philippines. A little story about my background might be important to begin with. I came here a year ago, April 2018, and came to visit a friend of mine, Pastor Leo. He encouraged me to come. I had just retired from a job, machining job, back in the States, United States. I'm from Minnesota, the United States. And so being retired and not married and no dependents, being a born again, Bible-believing Christian, I was asking God what his plan for my life might be, what direction he might be taking me. So I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and it took a while, and after juggling a bunch of things and deciding I'm going to come and visit the Philippines with the intent of possibly doing some mission work as well as meeting some friends and enjoying the country and just taking some time away from the States and visiting. I really have a heart for missions. I've been on several short-term mission trips, one of them to the Philippines. So I was able to come. I had contacts here, so that was good. So back in April, I came and I spent a month. I enjoyed my month. I came here in probably April is one of the hottest months in the Philippines. So I came with the intent to see if one like me at 66 years old could adjust to the environment and the culture. Apparently I have a pretty good missions heart because I adjusted really well. I met a young lady, comparatively to me, who I was introduced to by my good friend, Leo. So I came to visit him as well as her, and I was introduced to her by Leo a year before, actually. Well, not quite a year, maybe 6 months prior, and so we decided that we could get to know each other better. Long story short, I came back, went back home after April, my first visit, 30 days or so. Went back home and decided I was going to come to the Philippines and give it a year and try and settle in and encourage myself to do that, and packed away a lot of my stuff, rented out my house back home, hopped on the airplane and came to the Philippines and settled down into a nice little condo called the Dasman Residences, close to the school where Pressy, the girl I was talking about, and Pastor Leo work and have their church. So I enjoyed going to church and school every day and watching my friend Pressy do her job. She's a great administrator of the school, and they got great kids. It's a private Christian school, Grace Community Christian School. And so I spent some time. I ended up falling, make a long story short, the gal is her name's Priscilla. I ended up falling in love with her. We are like-minded, like-spirited, and I proposed to her. I think it was in November, and we got married on December 15th, of all things. And it's been a great journey now, almost a year later, and she's got a beautiful house up in Cavite, which is a considerable drive from her school every day. But we have continued to grow and grow in our love for each other, and things are really, really good. Right now I'm heading to a mall. I have a little car I bought, which was fit into the program really well. I'm encouraged to continue to drive it. It's a challenge. Here's one of the things. You're seeing it on the video cam, of course. The driving here is like insane compared to the States, but on the other hand, these people know how to do it. There's traffic on all sides. You've really got to have like 8 eyeballs. You got motorcycles. In fact, here comes one on, well, no, not quite. But they come up on your sides, down the middle. Here's one on the side. You'll see them pop out in front of me. These are things that you just have to put up with and tolerate and just be more conscious of what's going on. But I thought I'd try this Dashcam Diaries thing, just to share an expat's view of the Philippines. I plan to stay here. I'm here almost a year already. I said I'd commit to a year, and in September it'll be a year that I've been living here. We are now in the process of getting my lovely love her visa to come home with me and visit, so I can share her with my family back home. But we still have an intended idea to stay here in the Philippines and see what God has to do with our lives. We're encouraged by our like-minded ministry spirit, and we really have a heart for kids and leadership. I'm a discipler. I like to disciple people and understanding biblical leadership. So we hope to do that. Leo is a great friend. He's a pastor of the church, and he's got me plugged in now. I'm actually a missions director for this church, Grace from Heaven Christian Fellowship, and I'm enjoying being used in this way. Lord has taught me patience. Patience is a really big virtue here in the Philippines. Something about the Philippine people, they're some of the most hospitable, loving, caring people you could possibly find. The population is condensed. There are people everywhere. You see that here in the video. But they're all courteous, kind, respectful. One thing I've noticed that's really made me aware is the respect that the children have for all of us. See, there's another tight situation, but you learn to get through these. This is just the way it is here. This is how we commute. But I'm being used, and I pray that I continue to be used. Lord, like I said, we're trying to get Pressy her green card, which is a really interesting process, but very time-consuming. But again, having learned patience, I'm growing in that. I will wait. I'm flexible, and I'm growing closer to the Lord every day. Lord, He just blesses me, and I praise Him, and I thank Him for all that He's doing in my life. And I hope that comes across in these videos, seeing that this is the first one. This is a kind of a test run, so let's see how it goes, and if it works, good. There may be some audio issues on this. My dash cam, for some reason, we've been looking all over for it, has a vibrating sound that appears on the videos. You can still hear me, I'm sure. Things are still clear to a large extent, but we're having a little blockade here. I don't know what's going on, but there's a motorcycle up front that just apparently somebody's paying his bill. Transportation here again is very if you want to commute, you can commute very inexpensively. You can take these trikes like you see in front of me. There are jeepneys. Here in the suburbs, I call it, Lake Cavite, we're a good ways up or down from Manila, where Pasay is, where the school is. And we get around pretty good. My wife, she's very good at commuting, but I'm trying to avoid that for her. I hope that the car is helping. We have a gentleman, a friend, who lives in our little gated community, who also works at the school, who is able to drive her in a couple of days a week in our car. And then they have a little van they use at the school called the L300, which they use to haul people around. It's like a 12-seater bus almost that has all kinds of room, and it's a diesel, and it does really well. So I would pray that people could see that. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, so I'm going to close this one off. Thank you, Lord, for everything you mean to me and to us. Lord, I pray for the people hearing this message that the fact that I know and love you comes across, that they will see that, be encouraged to be drawn to do that. Lord, my objective, of course, is to proclaim the gospel message to the lost. And so in this little way, I will do that. Thank you for your your confidence in me. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.